I'm Vance Smith, and this is the Wishcharmer Saga, Volume 1, Beginnings, Chapter 1. How long have you had this piece? The old man looked up, taking his gaze off the gleaming gold form of the lamp. His pale eyes wandered for a moment, finally setting on Raju, as he tipped the lamp this way and that, letting the metal catch the light in different ways. Huh? Oh, I can't remember, to be truthful. Raju smiled. A crowd had gathered around his booth. The bystanders were watching with rapt attention as he surveyed the discarded relics they brought. It was a national roadshow, a place where people brought things for the hope they might be worth some grand sum, and whisk them away from their dreary existence, planting them firmly in the earth of the opulent. It was a place of hope, and of desperation. Raju nodded, looking at the lamp again. He brought a hand back, scrubbing the fake mustache that was firmly glued to his upper lip. It was itching, but there was simply nothing to be done about it, at this point. Too many people had seen him today. Too many of the other inspectors had chatted with him and discussed his methodology. Now, he would have to suffer a little longer. Soon the day would end, and he could take what he had gained and be done with it. Looking at the lamp, he smiled again. Such a find could take him far. If only he could convince this man to part with it. A simple con, but an effective one. I can't recall where I picked it up, the old man was saying. He rubbed his white beard and shook his head. It's as if I've always had it. I suppose I was just curious. Like all these folks, I wondered if it was just junk or something more. Something more indeed. Raju let himself laugh. He reached out, patting the man on the shoulder and setting the lamp down on the little table in front of him. A wonder indeed, sir. It's a magnificent piece. I've always thought so. These intricate carvings, you see? He pointed at the widest part of the lamp. They're quite wondrous, correct? Yes, very beautiful. And sadly, they are the undoing of this whole thing. I'm sorry? Oh, think nothing of it. It's a sad example, but one I see more often than not. Interesting pieces, wonderful workmanship, but forgeries usually. He bobbled his head, leaning across the table. You know, there are a lot of untrustworthy people running about Edejai these days. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been swindled. It's a time of con men and forgers, my friend. Like this lamp, they make you believe in something, but it's nothing more than an empty vessel. The old man's shoulders sagged. A forgery. It's strange. I've always had it with me, as long as I can remember. I felt it was important, like it held some secret to my life and my purpose. Perhaps sentimental value is important, my friend, Raju smiled. But in the times we live in, sentiment weighs you down. It's no good. Waste of time. He patted the lamp, looking at the intricate carvings in the thick, heavy gold. And besides all this, he frowned, the whole thing is actually lead, not gold. The old man stared at him in disbelief. He couldn't blame him. It was a far-fetched idea. The weight was right. The feel was right. It was obviously gold. But Raju couldn't let him continue to believe that. Lead? Raju nodded. Afraid so. It's a very naughty process. They weave components of fool's gold into boiling lead. Diabolical. Charlatans. Bleeding false alchemists. And so the man slumped. It is worthless. Raju leaned back in his chair abruptly. To you, yes. But to me, he smiled. It's a very interesting piece, sir. I would like to buy it from you, if you are willing. These are troubled times, you know. Gold is more useful than lead, wouldn't you say? The man nodded, but looked unconvinced. Sentiment. That was what held him back. Sentiment had robbed Raju of many good finds in the past. He was insistent that today would not be a repeat of such things. I would offer you 15 gold flanks for the piece, sir. It's a good solid price, he added, bobbling his head. 15? The man wondered. He wasn't sold. Because it interests me, and I like to track down the scoundrels that made it. Raju checked his purse. He hadn't much money left. The day had seen him run this ploy a few times. He had gained several worthwhile properties, but had run out nearly of all his gold. I would go as high as 25. He winced as he said the words. That would end it, for sure. He couldn't make a higher offer than that, and if the man gave in, he would be without money. He still hadn't eaten today. 25 gold, the man laughed, his lips curling into a tentative smile. It's a very interesting piece, as I've said. The man rubbed at his beard, considering. Looking up, he nodded slowly, extending his hand. These are troubled times indeed. Gold is more important than sentiment. Yes? Raju sighed in relief, letting himself smile as well. Too right, sir. Too right.